The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Guys, welcome back to Probably a Podcast. Okay, if you're listening to this, I'm getting married this week. Like, what? Like, hold on, what? So we thought, and by we, me, I thought this would be a really fun time for the next 2 weeks to take a little trip down memory lane. Now, I am on episode 114, I think this is. Like, that's crazy. That's so many episodes. But I want to bring you back to, and I know we did this last week. We did it with Anna Grace, but bear with me, guys. It's my wedding, okay? I've got a lot going on. But really, I just think, like, it performed so well. You guys loved re-listening to Trip of a Lifetime. Who wouldn't? It's an absolute fucking smash banger. But I want to take you back to episode 24. Now, this is a really good time to do that because although we are on episode 114, that's crazy. Like 114, let's rewind it to episode 24. I want to take you during this special week to Once Upon a Barcelona, okay? And I do actually have a lot of people ask me, like, if they're new listeners, if they're new followers, whatever, like, how did you and James meet? And of course I explain it like, yeah. But it's actually really crazy. I just listened back to this episode on my walk. James and I are in London right now. We leave for Italy tomorrow when this episode comes out. And yeah, I'm just really excited to play you guys this because when I was listening to it, I was like, this is so crazy. Like, it's nuts that I have this record showing like how I met and like my feelings and all these things. And I'm literally about to marry this man. Like, I'm about to walk down the aisle to him. That's just nuts. That's just nuts. I literally love being a millennial woman who won't shut the fuck up. I'm obsessed with it. Okay. I'm obsessed. So James is here. He's sitting right beside me. Honestly, TMI, but he's naked. He's just so, you're so naked. I did come upstairs, to be fair. I was still working downstairs. I come upstairs. He's ready for bed. Yeah. So just, if you're watching this, just picture James very naked. Okay. So part one, Once Upon a Barcelona. This is basically just talking about how me and Marissa, Marissa decided to go to Barcelona. Also how crazy, you guys. She's going to be at the wedding. Duh, she is. And yeah, I'm just like, ask her all the time. I'm like, can you believe you're attending a wedding when you were literally there when we met? She's like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, this is just a breakdown of all the different twists and turns that led me to the little alleyway where I met James. James, do you have anything to add? Okay, this will be fun. Give me your very first impression when you first saw me.
This does admittedly feel a bit strange that I'm talking about this naked, so apologies that Shannon shared that insight with you. But wait, where are we going? The first time we saw each other?
Yeah, tell me what you thought when you first saw me when I crossed that street.
Yeah, so I remember it so vividly. Walking down the long main street in Barcelona, and then I looked to my right, and you and Marissa coming down this little alleyway towards me in that green, sexy outfit you were wearing.
Oh,
and
it was top.
Yeah, a top. And I remember just thinking, wow, like that girl is stunning. And I said that to my friend at the time. I was like, mate, look how good looking that girl, she's so hot. And he was like, yeah, all right, cool, we were late for dinner. So I thought you might have been one of those Spanish redheads.
Oh, that's right, he thought I was exotic ladies.
Because
I thought you were
you
Spanish,
do get them,
because you are actually just genuinely
I was super tanned. Yeah, I was super tanned.
Everyone in Spain is so hot though. Girls, go to Spain, not just because like I met James there, even though he tricked me, he's English and like just not pale and doesn't have crooked teeth, but like, go to Spain. The guys who take out the trash are sexy. Like the waiters are sexy. Like you turn everywhere. Like honestly, whenever I said to Marissa, like that guy's so hot talking about James because I thought he was Spanish, she was like, yeah, we're in Spain. Everyone's hot. Like let's keep it moving. And I was like, oh my God, she's so right. So anyways.
Yeah, there's a lot of good looking men and women if you're into that as well. So we carried on walking to dinner and then did all that charades, drink, etc. And then, yeah, this is the crazy thing because we wouldn't have taken this route back towards our hotel if my friend didn't want to grab a peach iced tea from the grocery store. So we went down the back alleys and then came out.
We wouldn't have seen you unless I decided I wanted to get gelato. All these tiny little things.
Exactly. And then he went into the shop. I remember he'd already gone into the shop as I again, it was on my right hand side. You and Marissa were crossing the road. And I was like, oh my God.
Deja vu.
It's that hot girl again with her friend. And then it was Marissa who stuck her hand. And a hot friend. Both hot. And it was Marissa who actually stuck her hand up and waved.
Yeah, I was like, what do we do?
Remember, yeah. And then I waved. And then you guys came towards me. And then we just started chatting and
you'll have to hear the rest in this episode. We're going to start this out with one big chug.
Oh my gosh,
Cheers.
I need it.
Marissa,
Cheers.
An absolute goddess on this planet.
Tell me something I don't know.
We're about to tell you fuckers a lot of stuff you don't know. Okay, So we went to Spain. And when I say
No.
nuh-uh, cut it out. When I say it was to date, I'm about to explain a lot of things that sound fun and beautiful and whatever, and you might think that's why I'm like preemptively saying it was the best trip ever, but like literally all of Shannon's like, you know, love life aside, I truly, because we're gonna get into it, I really think this is one of my favorite trips, like big trips. Like I've had a lot of fun trips, I've had a lot of fun little trips, but when you think of your big trips in your life, usually they're abroad of some sort, right? This is one of my favorites. Like I said this beforehand, so Marissa and I have only traveled together one time. It was to Miami. It was for 2.5 days, which is the fucking amount of time you should spend in Miami, first of all. At a time, 2 days is great. So, which really kind of preemptively got us ready for Ibiza.
I was just thinking, in 2.5 days, the amount of fun that we had, the fact that then we had 10 days together is insane.
It's
I mean,
wild.
yeah.
Also, I just keep saying the word preemptively. Like, is that the word of the day? Like, you get a notification that's like dictionary.com talking about, you know what we're going to call ourselves 100 times in this podcast? Dumb Americans. Okay, so let's just
Disclaimer.
preemptively
Disclaimer.
disclaimer. Okay, so there are going to be a lot of accents used in this podcast. We're not held liable for them. We are not able to be canceled for them, and they are in no way, shape, or form representative of the culture or country in which they are derived from. And that is something that I honestly just came up with off the top of my head, and I should have been a fucking lawyer. Okay, so the Johnny Depp case just ended. Johnny Depp won.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, he did. We were watching it in Spain.
Gosh.
So, anyways, Johnny Depp's side. Yeah, we're just gonna be free flowing. Whatever accent, however we heard them, is how we are giving them back to you.
To be honest, an accent always makes things better.
They have to be included in this podcast.
The same sentences don't come out the same unless they have the accents attached to them.
There is someone retelling their story of Spain being like, and then we ran into this fucking redhead and this tall, gorgeous brunette, and they're talking about us being like, y'all, like, honestly, anyone that we talked to, they were like, y'all's accent is so funny, and then they would be like, y'all, and I was like, okay, first of all, we don't really talk like that. And he's like, yes, you do. And I'm like, do we talk like that? So people make fun of us, we're making fun of other people. My favorite thing to do in life is make fun of people, and myself included. So fuck off if we can't do that. So we're gonna bring it back to how the Spain trip came about. Again, Marissa and I have only traveled together one time, but I love Marissa. I have this like deep obsession with her that I couldn't quite place, and I couldn't explain it, and I just kept saying this really weird thing before we went to Spain. I was like, oh, she's my favorite person to travel with, and then I would hear myself say that, and I'd be like, that is so weird. You've been to Miami with her one time. But I just had the best time, and I left Miami, and we'd gone with one of our other girlfriends, Mary, who I knew a lot better, and like had the best time with both of you guys collectively. But I really got to know you on that trip, and I just fell in love with your existence, and I don't care how crazy I sound right now. I'm not on drugs. We're going to talk about the drugs I did on this trip, but I just genuinely loved being on the trip with you. It was my favorite trip thus far. You're the perfect travel partner. You're the most easygoing, lax, like go with the flow, but also like find a reservation for the hottest, coolest spot. Like you're just iconic to travel with.
Anyone that I told that I was going with you was like, you are going to have the best time. Because I think one, who you are in real life is also totally who you are on Instagram. But also the way that I came back and talked about Miami, and in the 2.5 short days that we had there, it was one of the best trips that I've ever had. And so everyone was so excited.
Validation. We love it.
Yeah.
You guys, there is nothing worse than some stanky breath. And here I've got a long-standing history, not with stinky breath, but with just like, teeth and mouth related issues. So I'm really big on the old dental hygiene front, all right? And when I tell you, like, if someone has bad breath, myself included, it's just an immediate red flag. It's an ick. And Smartmouth, okay, Smartmouth is amazing because Smartmouth is the only mouthwash that is scientifically proven to eliminate and prevent bad breath for 24 hours with just 2 rinses a day, okay? And it's tried and true because as much as I dislike bad breath, like I'm here to tell you I can have it. I can have it. I'm human. All right. And Smartmouth prevents bad breath 12 times longer than any other leading brand. And I've tried them all. All right. I've tried them all. I'm serious about bad breath. Okay. So Smartmouth, it's unique. All right. They've got this dual chamber bottle. So it keeps the two powerful solutions separate. That I love this about it. It's a little science experiment, if you will. Okay. Because it keeps these two solutions. They're like separate until you're ready to rinse. All right. So then when you pour the two solutions into the cup, you're then activating, and I'm about to sound really smart here. You're activating the smart zinc technology. So this zinc ion activation is the key. It is the key to eliminating and preventing sulfur gas. All right. Again, I'm Bill Nye the Science Guy, but sulfur gas is bad breath. All right. And the secret to all day fresh breath is the fact that when these two things oxidize together, boom, they just create a magic solution to give you just fresh breath, all right? And Smartmouth knows what they're doing with this crazy cool science project because it was developed by a dentist. That's right. Smartmouth, they got the big dogs involved, all right? They're like someone that sees this every day. Let's bring them on board and let's make sure this is done right. So I think it's summertime, it's winter, it's spring, it's fall. No matter what season, if your breath stinks, it's not good. Me personally, I get really self-conscious anytime that I'm like in a big meeting or in an in-person situation. Before I have shows, I have meet and greets, and I just like cannot fathom. I would die. I would literally die if people left and were like, Shannon Ford was so nice, so cool. Her breath stank. She had that stanky breath. Like I cannot fathom. So use Smartmouth, all right? And don't miss out on the 24-hour fresh breath. Find Smartmouth at CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart, or visit www.smartmouth.com/probably to snag a special discount on your next Smartmouth purchase. That is www.smartmouth.com/probably. Smartmouth.com/probably. Your mouth will thank you, and honestly, so will everyone else around you. Okay, so we're totally on the same page there. Just mushy. We had the best time with each other. But let's take it into some chronological order. So let's start with how this trip came to be. So Marissa, if you don't know who Marissa Martin is, she's incredible. Find her on Instagram, Marissa Danielle, which I definitely thought was her last name for a very long time, which is really stupid. I've never met anyone with the last name Danielle. But she's an incredible hairstylist in Nashville. To the celebrities and stars, she'll sell herself short, but she is incredible. And if you want to go to her, you can't, because her waiting list is through the fucking roof. And thank God I don't have to dye my hair, because I would want to get in with her and I couldn't get in with her. So she's amazing. And so every year, correct me if I'm wrong, please, for the love of fuck, interrupt me. Interrupt me, please.
This is how much I love you. I just love to hear you talk.
Every time I get like the things, people are like, oh, she wouldn't stop talking. I'm like, please, someone else interrupt me. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, though. Every year you go, since I've been following you, which I've known Marissa for as long as I've lived in Nashville, which is 8 years. So we just became friends in this past year, but I've known you and been acquaintances.
Yeah.
Could we give acquaintances?
Definitely.
We've been like mutual friends with mutual friends, so acquaintances of each other for 7 years. So I've followed her on Instagram for 7 years, right? And don't you try to go abroad almost every year?
I try to take somewhat of like a solo
Sabbatical.
trip. Yeah. I'm just, it's like I'm at the age where I'm like, people are getting married, people are having kids.
Same.
I'm have a career where I can afford to like take a trip.
Yeah.
And if no one else is going to take it with me, then I'm going to go myself.
Pop off queen. So I love that about her. And I kept bragging about her to everyone. I'm like, Marissa's so fucking cool. Marissa just goes on these solo trips. And honestly, she kept being like, okay, relax. Because I was like, she's always on some eat, pray, love bullshit. And people are like, she's like, okay, I go on trips with friends as well. But I'm like, every year she takes a trip abroad by herself for 3 weeks. She schedules out her client. She goes. She's like, where did you get this information? I'm like,
You've just been stalking me.
I'm like, I've been following her for 7 years. I know she does this. So her and I had gone to Soho House in Nashville, and we were having dinner and drinks, and we were just chatting and catching up with life. And she was telling me, I'm going on this trip to Spain. I was like, oh, stop, fun. Where are you going? She's like, I'm going to Barcelona. Honestly, I'm not the most cultured person in the world. I've definitely been out of the country, and I've been to Europe as far as going to Italy. But like, again, dumb Americans, we've been to like Mexico, and that's it. So it's hard to get there. And if there's one thing I learned from the people that we met abroad, I'm like, you guys are so fucking lucky that all this stuff is in your backyard. And I meet people from other cultures and other countries, and I'm like, how are we so uncultured? I know I grew up broke, but was I that broke? Like, damn, how did they go to the Swiss Alps and all this stuff? Well, because that's like them going to Florida. Like, it takes us 3 hours to literally, again, go to Florida, to Miami, right?
Yeah.
Whereas to go from London to the Swiss Alps is a 2-hour flight. That could be wrong. I'm making that up.
Yeah, the amount of people who it's like summer was hitting and they're like, I'm going to Mykonos, I'm going to Ibiza, I'm going to Ibiza.
Ugh. Also,
The lisp is really gonna...
disclaimer. Oh my god! And the people we met too said it. So with Barcelona and Ibiza, there was one time where I spoke to the wonderful lady who was cleaning our room. I told her we didn't need it to be clean, but we wanted some water bottles, and she handed us water bottles. And I said gracias with the th because that's how you're supposed to say it, allegedly, gracias. And she started speaking Spanish to me, and I said, damn.
See, that's what ends up happening. You speak too much Spanish, like you say hello, you say how are you say the next thing, and then they say full paragraphs, and you're like, oh, wait, back up. I only knew the greetings.
And we all know, I don't know, have I talked about this in the podcast? Producer Courtney fact check me. Have I talked about how my school, my fucking podunk school in South Carolina, shouts out Gilbert High School, love you, but what the fuck were you doing teaching us Japanese? Have I talked about this? They taught us Japanese. I grew up in a rural, I grew up in a rural, why does that word sound so weird? A rural farm town in South Carolina, and we were taught Japanese. We had a sensei that came to our class every day, every Tuesday, Thursday, whatever it was, and we learned Japanese. I could literally, to this day,
pop off. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Do it.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes in Japanese. Atamagata hizahashi hizahashi. Atamagata hizahashi hizahashi.
Wow.
Meito mimito kuchito hana. Atamagata hiza. Why the fuck do I know that?
Did you say coochie?
It is kuchito.
Okay.
Good. Someone should back check me. That's of Japanese descent. But for me personally, my memory is kuchito. See, like, this episode could be the end of it all. I don't know. That was my memory of Japanese, and I'm allowed to have that.
You just thought you were going to slide by with that?
Like, you just thought you were going to slide by with saying Kujito. So I don't know. So that's my experience with other languages. But then I went to college. I don't know what principal came to school and was like, okay, what the fuck? I don't know who watched Karate Kid too much and was like, let's teach them all Japanese. But like, who came and was one day like, I don't know if these kids are going to use this. Also, like, really, like, Spanish is a very like useful tool in the area that we're from. So why weren't we learning Spanish like everyone else? Anyways, someone comes in, I think I was in about 10th grade, and they switch us to Spanish. A Spanish teacher comes in, and Senorita Smith says, we're going to skip. Obviously, you guys know hola. You guys know. She starts saying like, whatever, como estás? We're like, whoa. We're like, no. We don't fucking know that shit. I, in high school, was put into a remedial class with like 7th graders because we were just so underdeveloped. When I went to college and had to take an entrance exam, I was mortified. If you finish the class sooner, you're like, that means you were stupider. Well, there you go. Stupider is not a word. Not a word. You're stupider. So I remember I finished so early that I was like, oh no. And I like pretend I was like click, 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 like still tapping on the mic, like, and they were like, ma'am, your test says done. And I was like, no, not. I think it glitched or something. I was in there for like 5 minutes. Like
you felt too many questions.
Quickly.
I thought you finished quickly. No, failed quickly.
Failed too quickly. They're like
gotcha.
remedial. So anyways, language is not my thing, but I want to just like say we are unlucky and we are very far away from other countries that are fabulous. So that's all I have to say about that.
We will say Ibiza and we will say Ibiza.
We will say Ibiza. We will say Ibiza. It is whatever we are currently feeling at the time. Whatever cultural references coming into our soul is how we will speak
we'll go with it.
So I basically am at Soho House with Marissa, and she's talking about going to Spain. I'm like, fabulous.
I am 2 weeks out from going.
She is literally has had this planned for assumingly a while, right? And she's like, I'm going in 2 weeks. I'm like, fun. She's like, yeah, I'm going to Barcelona. The only thing I wish I could do is I would love to go to Ibiza, but like I can't go to Ibiza as a single female by herself. And I was like, no.
It has been like one of the places I've been dying to go. Like, love a good party, love a beach, love having fun. It has been the bachelorette party of my dreams.
We'll make it happen, baby.
I mean, we've got to.
We've got to.
Yeah.
But you said, like, I would love to do that, but
on a solo trip, I was not going to go alone.
Which, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you're going on a solo trip to Spain, please do not go to Ibiza by yourself. Like, don't.
Honestly, don't.
Don't do that. We're about to tell you might not should even go with just one other person. You should maybe have a gaggle of people with you. But really, I was just like, oh, bummer. And I don't know, like, it literally, I'm a pretty spontaneous person in general, but, like, immediately I was like, oh, man, that would be so fun. Should I go with you? And she was like, immediately, and I could be retelling the story from my account, but like immediately you were like, yes. Or you were like, if you want to.
I will solo travel, but I don't prefer to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I will take any and every opportunity, but everything is more fun with someone else.
Yes.
You have a wing woman, you have a hype man, you have someone just to like be bored with, you have someone to be with in the hotel room. The minute that you gave me an inkling, I was like, gotta push it. She's gotta come with me.
Well, that makes me feel better because I'm like, basically I hijacked her trip. Anyone that Madison was like, so what are you girls doing in Spain? I'm like, well, she was going on an Eat, Pray, Love journey. And I said, I'm coming on that shit. So I'm happy to hear that you were like, this is great. I would like you to come.
The next day, because you were sold. Like, we even left and I was like, if you're really serious about it, and you were like, I totally am. The next morning I was like, I have to make sure. Like, I have to lock this down. Some people say that in the moment. And even the next day you were like,
I'm in.
I am totally in.
Now, guys, what kind of friend would I be if I didn't tell you the best new binge-worthy TV show to watch? And if you're saying you'd be a bad one, then you're right. But just like a binge-worthy TV show or a song that you bump to on repeat that I literally have to share with everyone, and then I play it until I run into the ground, I need you guys to experience how awesome this is. And that is what it feels like when you discover that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month. That's right, you heard that. $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It is such an awesome deal. There's just no way I can keep it to myself, all right? And actually, James uses Mint Mobile. He used it before me. He was a trendsetter, if you will, okay? And he used it when he was living in London. I also didn't know that, like, I think Ryan Reynolds has something to do with the company. Anyways, I'm sold. I'm in. I love it immediately, okay? Now, friends don't let friends overpay for wireless. So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile, guys. I can't talk to you about what my phone bill was before I switched to Mint Mobile. Like, it rescued me. It really did, because mine was like out of control. It was just too much. It was crazy. And when I say $15 a month, people like don't believe me, but truly every plan, it's not a gimmick, okay? Every plan comes with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, and it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. So you can use your own phone. All right, that was a big deal for me. I didn't want to switch phones. With any Mint Mobile plan, you can bring your own phone number. Now, I love my phone number, okay? I like really shouldn't say this online, but I haven't switched my phone number since 7th grade. So like, it's just special to me, okay? And most importantly, you can keep all your existing contacts, which we love. So ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal, and you'll get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month, okay? Now, to get this new customer offer, you and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, you're going to need to go to mintmobile.com/probably. That's mintmobile.com/probably. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/probably. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower than 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. So we're going to backtrack for a tiny second, because in the episode about the bedless Dutchman, you guys heard me briefly reference Funny Guy and how he's having his hot guy summer, and I was uninvited, and that's all's well to be well. But at the time when we were planning Spain, I was in this really... this pathetic little moment, this little pocket. I'm not always pathetic, but you know, we all have our pockets of pathetic. And I was in a pathetic pocket at the time. And I was like, and I told Marissa, because I feel so comfortable around Marissa and I guess the rest of the fucking free world and internet on this podcast. So I'm going to say it now as well. I felt very comfortable to tell her, I was like, oh my gosh, I think Funny Guy might invite me to like wherever he was currently at in the United States. And I was like, I just like, he's about to invite me. I just feel like he's going to invite me. So like, maybe I shouldn't be in Spain. And she's like, listen, I totally get it. I've been fixated on a guy before and like hoped they'd invite me somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I had this like moment where I was like, you know what? This guy is confusing me, and I am so confused. And I am here to tell you, ladies, especially if this is going to come into play in the next portion of this podcast. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're fucking confused, your answer's there. Your answer is there. Unless there is some pressing issue, like really like y'all are in like a different part of your life, or he has kids, like things that are supposed to be confusing for a reason. If you're just outwardly confused if someone likes you, they don't. Or if they do, they are not properly showing it to you. And this is not something that you should engage with or spend your energy on. So I had this pocket of not patheticness. I had this pocket of just like confidence and get the fuck out of here, Shannon. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, be better than this. And I said, fuck that. He's confusing me. I don't even know if he likes me or if he's that into me. I think he's cool, but like, I'm not going to not go to Spain with my friend. I'm going to Spain. And I got out of the pathetic pocket and I went to Spain. And
I feel like you've talked about too, like you're very honest about being single and dating, but also like you're ready for a relationship. And so
Totally.
if someone is confusing you or not putting in the effort, like we're putting our life on hold for someone who's
what?
not making us a priority, like we don't have time for that.
I know,
So-
and it's a lot easier said than done. So I also want to like mention that I'm not always bad bitch energy where I'm like, if someone's confusing, dump them, cut it. It's like, that's not always easy to do when you put your time and energy into someone else and you like them. But I am proud to say that I gave it a moment, a pocket, and I said, no, we're not doing that. So anyways, I said, we're going to Spain, baby. So we decide that we're going to Barcelona. And she had started her trip. So Marissa had started her trip a week before me.
Yeah.
So
kind of the outline, like I am such a planner, but for some reason this trip felt different. I didn't want to do a lot of planning. So I had my plane in and out, and then I had my first hotel stay, had none of the meat planned, which is how Shannon even like got to come, is because
So
well,
true.
not got to come, but
No, but
it's how we got to even go to Ibiza, because I was
in
like,
Soho, when we were in the Soho house talking about this, I was like, I remember saying like, wait, can I jump in on this? And you go, I got my flight in and I got my flight out.
Yes.
Both from Barcelona, but like, you're welcome to join. And I remember thinking like, okay, I don't feel so bad joining in if she just
Yeah.
like doesn't. But let me tell you who that stressed the fuck out. Sharon K. Ford. My mom, who is literally her literal job as a travel agent, was like, okay, perfect. So you and Marissa are going to, and keep in mind, like I come from my stock is this travel agent woman. I love a plan. I love an itinerary. I love all these things, but I'm also, as you guys know from just like knowing me online, I'm a very go with the flow kind of person. I don't need, I'm not type A to that degree, right? And so I remember my mom being like, because I've planned Dubai trips, I've done all this stuff where I have it all like very specific planned. And Marissa and I basically were like, all we need to make sure of is that we have logistics of planes, trains, automobiles, and hotel stays. But other than that, like, fuck it, let's just figure it out.
And everyone has different travel styles, and I figured out through the years that like what fulfills me the most is like becoming a part of the culture.
Yeah.
And so planning museums and like all of these tours is not my thing. So not planning anything put me more in fulfillment mode, because we got to just go with the flow and like almost be a local and just see where like the trip took us.
Yeah, I agree.
It took us everywhere.
So that was great. So we basically, we had no plans except for we knew we wanted to go to, well, she was in Barcelona for a week before me. And then I joined her for 2 days in Barcelona. Her last 2 days in Barcelona, I had my first 2 days in Barcelona. Then we were going to Ibiza. Look at me with the TH, baby.
Spanish girl.
I am a Spanish lady. So we went to Ibiza 2 days later for 2 days, 3 days. We went for 3 days. And then the plan was to go to Seville. I have
Honestly,
actually
don't know.
asked, and I've asked people, and they said it could be either one. It could be Seville, it could be Sevilla.
It's like Spain is also España.
Right.
So it's like, it
Either
depends
way.
on who you ask.
We simply
Yeah.
can't spend any more time talking about it.
No, we can't.
Otherwise, it'll be the whole podcast. And
Yeah.
I'm just not that stressed about it. And if you are, just turn it off, because it's not going to get better.
Yep.
So, so we were going to go to Seville, which is like, what is like kind of like, I don't want to use the word sleepy because I'm sure it's beautiful in its own right, but it's a much slower beach
Quiet.
towns.
It was going to be like more cobblestone streets, more
Our
antique,
rest.
classical day trips to beach towns, but like brand new exploration. Honestly, I mean, probably not the same as Barcelona, but like we
Yeah,
would have
similar
gotten
vibes.
kind of the same feel.
We wanted to go to Barcelona for like the restaurants and nightlife to see iconic Barcelona. We wanted to go to we wanted to go to Ibiza to party our dicks off, and then we
Yeah.
wanted to relax in Seville and then head back to Barcelona to fly back home, right? Those were our logistics that we planned. Here's what actually happened. So you're gonna force me to make
Yeah.
these things quick, okay?
Okay, day one. I've already been there for
We're
5
going
days.
to chronological order now, baby. This
Yeah.
is the trip it would make the most sense for me to explain everything
Yeah.
about this trip in chronological order. So
I've been there for 5 days.
got a tattoo.
I've got
what a
couple
bad
tattoos.
bitch. She got tattoos in Barcelona. Cool.
Girl.
Cool girl.
I don't mess around with solo trips.
It was a neck tat.
And a back tat.
Dang.
Do not diminish me.
Don't diminish
I
that
am a bad
back.
girl. Just kidding.
She's a bad girl.
I did a couple days solo, was feeling out the city, made a few connections before you got there.
Love that for you.
Those will circle back around. And honestly was like dying for a friend at that point. Like, don't mind a solo trip, but
Yeah.
would rather have someone else there with me.
I was so excited to be there.
And so you showed up day 5 and my world turned around. Like, I became a new person the day that you showed up.
Marissa, like, I'm just such a sucker. I'm like, really? It did? I just love her so much. Like, I don't know. When I love someone, it's, you know what? Unrequited love is not love. And when you feel love back, there is nothing like it. And I just love Marissa so much. And I just had the best time with her. I just got genuine fret during the trip because I'm like, God, is she having as much fun as I'm having? Because I love her. Fuck, I love her. So anyways, that just makes me very happy. It makes my soul light on fire.
I feel like we were texting everyone every day. And I was like, girl, you are going to be so happy. Literally, everyone is hot.
Everyone's hot.
I could not get over. I knew it's like Spanish guys they've got to be like my ideal guys. Tall.
They are totally your type.
Dark, tan skin. They have an accent. Anyone with an accent.
Sold.
I mean, yeah.
If you have an accent, I will fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. I can't say that anymore. The clickbait is done. I'm a changed woman. And honestly, like, if you're funny, I'll fuck you clip. It's one of my favorites, and when producer Courtney sent it to me, I was like, gold. And now it has haunted me to my core. But the fact of the matter is, if you have a good personality, like, I will engage in sexual activities with you.
Or an accent.
That's good.
Or an accent.
Accents and great
Are
personalities.
my standards
like,
low? I have no idea.
I think our standards are high. Like, we're not losers to just fuck hot guys. Like, if you have a great personality or speech that I enjoy, I am going to hang out with you behind closed doors and then talk about it on a very public podcast. And that's fine. So anyways, she had been texting me like, these men are so hot. Everyone here is so hot, which we need to circle back because just super quick, the service industry in Barcelona.
We can talk about it. Like, Marissa loved Spanish men and Spanish men loved Marissa because I don't know if it was the American thing. I don't know if because they knew that we were just there for a temporary time.
If you're watching this on YouTube, I think you are very aware why any man in Barcelona loved Marissa. She's hot. What do you mean? I don't know why they loved me. You're hot. So, but it's funny because like I would see some guy be like, oh, Marissa, hot guy alert. And they're like,
everyone.
I'd be like, damn it, he's got an apron on. Like, not like, damn it, he's got an apron on. Like, we're not interested in anyone in the service industry. But I was like, damn it, he probably doesn't get off till 4 a.m.
Oh,
like,
I would be crossing a crosswalk and a trash truck would be coming down the alley. So I would have to stop because he would have to cross the street. And the trash truck guy, I would be lost in the days over the trash truck guy.
if you're taking trash out in Barcelona, well, fuck you.
I was in a Spanish coma.
We were in a patatas bravas and Spanish men coma, okay? They're all just so hot. Okay, so I arrive. I get there. Barcelona, day 1. I did the perfect fucking thing. I made myself so tired the day before. I slept on the whole trip. I arrived at 8 a.m. I got there. She's like, how are you, jet lagged? I'm like, baby, I'm ready to fucking rumble. Let's go. We have a pool day, right? We check into, so if you guys want to know anything about our trip as far as like hotels, restaurants, whatever, Marissa has a beautiful highlight on her page. Check that out. We'll briefly mention names of places we stayed here, but like if you actually want the meat and potatoes of where we stayed in a trip guide, go to her Instagram at Marissa Danielle and you can find the logistics there. I have been talking about this for so long and it's here. It's my wedding. If you're listening to this, this is literally the weekend. Well, it's the week. It's the week of my wedding. And what have we been talking about in regards to my wedding? I won't stop talking about my hair. You're on my hair journey. You guys know it. You hear it. I keep singing it, but you are. And I've been like working to get to this wedding hair that I want. And I'm here. And I'm actually like so thrilled with my hair right now, my hair health, my hair journey. It just feels like it all came together really beautifully before the big day. And I have Nutrafol to thank with that, okay? And y'all know my history. I had some glued-in individual hair extensions for 11 years. 11 years. And during COVID, I chopped it all off, wanted it to get healthy. But when it was growing back from its bob, like I had one of them bobs, I was a bob girl, I wanted it to like grow right because you can chop all your hair off and still not have healthy hair grow back, okay? That's not just like, your fix-all to a situation. So I wanted to immediately start taking something that I knew would help my hair growth, and that is absolutely Nutrafol, okay? It came highly recommended to me by so many of my hair gurus and just friends in general who have used the product and loved the results. So if you have hair thinning, hair shedding, or you just want to get your hair to its healthiest place. And that was me. I just felt like my hair was just like kind of thin. And I wanted to make sure when it grew long, it also grew like healthy and thick. So Nutrafol can help get you there. And the results that I see from taking Nutrafol, they're really genuinely just so obvious, okay? Now, there are so many reasons behind hair thinning, and Nutrafol addresses the root of the issue. That's why I like Nutrafol so much, because they address the root of the issue by taking a whole body approach to hair health. So they are starting within, and it's also the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement. Okay, so we love that because it's clinically shown to improve visible thickness and strength. Now, I've given Nutrafol as a gift to my friends who are experiencing postpartum hair loss as well. It's awesome to do that as a gift. They have a postpartum one, and it's plant-based. It's got drug-free, science-backed ingredients. Okay, so you get the most reliable results. And I love how my natural hair has been growing, especially because, like I said, I wanted it to be the healthiest for my wedding. That's what I needed. So if you want to take the first steps to visibly thicker, healthier hair for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter code probably, Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, that's spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code probably. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code probably. But we check in Hotel Arts, which was beautiful. We got a suite. We said, if we're going to do it, let's fucking do it. And that's another thing about traveling. Me and Marissa just had the same concept about life. We were like, we're at an age and a point in our life where we just want to have fun and we want to enjoy ourselves. So Mama's booked the suite. So we have an incredible view, incredible time there. We have a pool day, and then it's time to go to dinner.
Yeah, I think it was like time to get ready. You try to take like a little baby nap.
Oh yeah, she did say that I didn't nap. She goes, you napped for a second, and I walked in and there was like a floorboard that creaked and you were like,
she zombie came alive. But the timing is just so weird. It's 7 hours ahead. Like happy hours at 7 p.m. Like the nights just start so late.
Okay, so Marissa will do a better job explaining this really quick. Explain, because this is very important to the entire concept, and especially if you want to go to Spain. Explain Spanish culture, or it could be exceeding past Spain, but for Spain, explain what they do.
Breakfast is, I mean, you can eat breakfast, but it's late. It's 11 o'clock.
This is, by the way, not like, this is not like, oh, kind of what they do. Places are closed. Like if you are an American and you're traveling here, or if you're anyone that eats breakfast at the times that we're used to, please note that you cannot, you will not. So
like so many places open for lunch at 1. Like places here open at 11 for lunch.
Yeah.
Their version is 1. So if you show up at 1, it's early.
Yeah.
So you're eating lunch at 2 to 4. Some places close from 4 to 7. People work until 7:30, 8 o'clock. Then they get off, and their happy hour is at 7.
Their happy hour is at 7.
So if you go to dinner at 7, you are eating at 4:30 in the afternoon.
You're a loser.
Yeah. It's so early. So the time change is already hard, but getting adjusted to like the meal time. So at 7, you're like, okay, it's time to eat. It's not time to eat. It is champagne time. It is time to walk around. Like sun does not set for 2 more hours.
Sun sets at 9 p.m. there. And here was the nice thing, just being a girl and being someone that just like got there and like being a little jet lagged ish. Like it was kind of in a weird way. There were times when we were like in Ibiza where I was like, oh my God, we're not going out and it's 2 a.m. But there was a lot of times where I did not mind the late starts because I was on vacation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I was like, this is perfect. Like I was able to get ready, have time to take a couple selfies. And then I was like, oh, we got to go to dinner. Dinner's at 9:30. Like
9:30.
And that's us showing up early. We were the fucking losers. Like we were showing up to 9:30 dinner, and like, honestly, that was early. So that is just to preface like the time schedule. If you want to go to Spain, that's what we're twerking with. Okay.
Which is nice because like we had a pool day, we got ready, but you took a nap. And I mean, we probably didn't leave until, I don't know, close to 8, and it was still light outside.
Oh my God. So sunny. Like you guys, not like golden hour, like sunny. Golden hours, like 8:30 or so.
Yeah.
So at 8 o'clock, we're walking to dinner. We decided to go to the plaza. I'm like, it's my first night there. I've been in Barcelona for 7 hours, if that. And we're walking down the street. Everyone, keep in mind, so hot. But we're walking down the street, and I'm going to give my just account of said situation, but I'm pretty positive because I've talked about it 18 times to Marissa. We both have the same account. We're walking. I don't know which one of us said it. But
down an alley.
Okay, so this needs to be prefaced really quick, only because now I'm like, this is my favorite story ever. I need you guys to know how intricate Barcelona is. Barcelona is I'm not going to compare it to New York in the sense of anything other than every tiny little street is its own alleyway. And if you've ever been to Italy, like I went to the Amalfi Coast and there were so many, I remember I was in Positato and there were so many little alleyways, and in Capri as well, like tiny little cobblestone historic alleys that are like, you could just get lost because there's so many.
And they're a full street. Like you have to turn down a street and it's an alleyway.
It's an alleyway. So they're just all tiny and intricate, and it's not open and broad. It's broad in some parts, like plazas and centers, but like for the most part, it's these tiny little tucked away alleys and crossways and whatever. It's just important to note that we see these guys and it's just random, right? And she's like, look at or maybe I said it, I don't know. One of us was like, oh, look at those men. And then the other person was like, damn. It was two guys who were crossing the street. They were two very attractive guys. And they were just hot. Like I think we were like, they're gorgeous.
Like, I warned you that guys would be hot. And it was like, whether they lived there or whether they were visiting there, like everyone who goes there is hot, which also everyone is from Europe going to Barcelona too. So you're just like, everyone in Europe is hot. If you're American,
couldn't agree more.
We're lacking in so many ways because Europeans just...
If you're American, you're so fucking ugly. Like, honestly. I'm kidding. Am I? Am I? No, I'm kidding. No, but it's just like European, and maybe they're just so hot.
It was like a scene out of a movie. We're like walking down an alley, and you've got this street in front of us, and these two people in an alley's 5 feet wide. So you have these two people who just blip by.
Just like popped out.
Both of us looked at each other. We were honestly probably talking, stopped mid-combo, and we were like, did you see those two guys?
And I don't want to over romanticize this moment because I am
we're going to over romanticize
currently living in like a cute little fairy tale of my own. But like, honestly, I don't think I am over romanticizing the story. The story is pretty fucking cute and romantic.
It is.
So,
except for the fact that like they passed by us. We hit the end of the alleyway. They were a block down. We were supposed to go straight, and we were like...
Marissa was the mapper. She's like, she'd been there a few days, 5 days before me. So I'm like, love you. You have to map us. So she's telling us where to go. We're going to this plaza for dinner. And I look at her. I remember for a fact, I'll be desperado in this situation. Desperado scale, I'll give it 6. I said... let's follow them. And she was like, what are we going to do? It's the opposite way where we're going. I said, that's okay. Let's just follow them for a little bit. And she was like, all right. So we're following them. We had already certainly made eye contact with these two guys, two girls, two guys, good looking. We made eye contact.
I can't even remember. It happened so
totally.
They quickly looked down the alley.
The same amount as us. Like we looked at them, they looked at us. Like definitely made eye contact.
That's right.
Some sort of contact of looks.
Yes.
And it wasn't lengthy, but
they were just as desperate as we were.
They saw us, we saw them.
Yeah.
I don't know if we thought they might be like itching to see us, so I'm like, let's follow them, thinking in my head that they're gonna be two guys, two girls. They're gonna start turning back. Oh, are they like, oh, they're behind us now, we should slow down, we should talk to them. They are motherfucking booking it. Like I look at Marissa and I'm like, oh, she's like, they're walking pretty fast. Marissa, tall girl, 5'10". Me, 5'8", and also walk so fast. People tell me all the time, like even
so fast.
I walk.
It was shocking.
It's jarring how fast I walk. And so really I was like, okay, this is weird. Like they haven't looked back at us one time. They're borderline like sprinting. Like either one, I have body dysmorphia and I think I'm way hotter than I am, or 2, they have girlfriends, or 3, they look so young. Like I don't know where I'm going with this, but I at some point one of us is like,
we were a block into walking in the wrong direction and we looked at each other. They had not looked back once. We looked at each other and we were like, should we abort mission?
Abort mission. We said, we both collectively decided,
like, what was the plan once we caught up to them?
And I think she had said to begin with, when I was like, let's follow them, she was like, what's the plan? I was like, I don't know, maybe they're walking into a bar and we can like pop into the bar too. That was clearly not this. I was like, they could be walking back to their wives and children. I don't fucking know. Let's just abort mission. So we abort mission. We go to the plaza. We turn around. First of all, we have to turn around. We walk a block backwards because we walked a block in the wrong direction to follow these men. And so we walk a block backwards. We go to this plaza. We have a delicious amount of patatas bravas, which is, by the way, just potatoes and cheese. And we had so many potatoes and cheese.
I am a russet potato by this point in my life. It destroyed me for the longest time. I ate potatoes 2 or 3 times a day. I remember eating that many potatoes.
I'm a russet potato at this point.
I tried them everywhere.
Marissa, I don't know if this is true, but Marissa convinced me that everywhere you go, I would say
it is true.
I would say, we have patatas bravas at the last place, and she would go, this country takes pride in their patatas bravas.
I took a food tour when I was alone, so never leave me alone again. And they told me that it's the pride of the city, and I can never touch another potato.
She said
Ever
it's
again.
a pride of the city, so everyone wants to try their own version of them. So we have to try them everywhere. So everywhere we went, we had goddamn patatas bravas.
Yeah.
And they were, everywhere we went, delicious.
Different and delicious every
And
time.
I will say,
so.
I was like, why are we getting the same thing? But it's true. Every single restaurant we went to was a different version of patatas bravas, which was really nice. So
we had a plaza night. I had already been there, so I was like, there's this plaza I want you to eat at. There were some bars that I'd been to with...
It was a Tuesday. So she had come off of a Sunday that was super fun, and she was like, the nightlife is fun, da-da-da-da. And I was like ready to go. I was awake. I was like ready to go. So I was like, dinner, and then let's fucking enjoy the nightlife.
I had met people before you got there, so like I went out with them, and so they showed me to some of the most fun bars, and I had a couple like very wild nights, and so I was super excited because I was like, I cannot wait to do a wild night with Shannon.
Yes.
And then it was a Tuesday.
And it was a Tuesday, which we were like, you know me, guys. If there's one thing about me, I will find that fucking silver lining. If I have to claw through the clouds, if I have to like eject myself out of a plane to find a silver lining, I will find it, which also makes me a great person to travel with. And Marissa's the same way. So we were reaching. We were like, dinner, let's go. And then we were like, drinks, the bar's kind of slow, but the music is fun.
We went to 2 places, and I remember both by like the last place, it was, I don't even know, 12:30, and we were like
12:30 at night.
Does it like, you know, is this a good
up?
night? And they were like, yeah, but it's still early. We were like, my God.
I
Like,
was like, Jesus.
yeah, like I get that it's early here, but
My
for
God.
an American, like I've got to go.
I think we basically after dinner, 2 separate bars. I mean, we were like,
We tried. We took 4 or 5 shots. We had espresso martinis. We were ready to make a night out of it.
We were ready to rumble.
Barcelona was like not gonna.
Barcelona was like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking Tuesday. And we love where your head's at, girls, but it's a fucking Tuesday. So we're like, all right, I look at her at one point and I say, it's my first night here. I didn't want to be, again, like the loser travel friend. So I was like, it's party, blah, blah, blah. I was like, look, it's my first night here. I don't mind to go to sleep. She's like, let's call it. I'm like, let's call it. So we go to go back to the hotel, to walk back to the hotel. And, I stopped for gelato. I don't know why that's important.
It is important because we leave this bar. I love a dessert. I was so, I think, stuffed on tequila that I couldn't put any more in me. But we saw this gelato shop and we talked about going, I didn't want any, you got some.
Yeah.
Every second counts because
we're
romanticizing the story again, and it has to be.
Okay, I have loved Scotch and Soda, which is like an incredible clothing brand, for a really, really long time. And they just came out with the collab of the century, I think. Well, you know what it is? I think it's a perfectly executed collab. Sometimes collabs just don't make sense to me. But when two, like a brand and a celeb or whoever it is gets together and it's like a seamless, amazing collab. That's what I feel like this is. And that is Scotch and Soda x Joe Jonas. It's really just giving makes sense. Like Scotch and Soda creates this like standout wardrobe pieces that encourage you to like make a statement. That is also what Joe Jonas does, I feel like. And they're crafting pieces that blend unexpected fabrics, patterns, right? But then they also have these like classic techniques and silhouettes that you can just like kind of add as staples into your closet. But it's really kind of reflecting on an artistic view of fashion. I think Scotch and Soda really is just amazing. I have a couple blazers from them. I have a pair of trousers that you guys always obsess over that I wear. They're like blue trousers. But Scotch and Soda has their first drop of their collaboration with the international pop star, songwriter, actor, and brand ambassador Joe Jonas. So the collection is designed and co-created with Joe. And it fuses Scotch and Soda's distinct style with Joe Jonas's playful, sartorial approach, including like bold colors, prints, textures. I feel like we see that on stage when he's performing, and in general, like he really does just love this like different look. And it's also high quality fabrics and premium tailoring. So we love that about Scotch and Soda. That's something they always deliver. But the Scotch and Soda x Joe Jonas capsule collection features a mix of men's and unisex clothing. They actually have a workman's jacket in the collection that I'm absolutely eyeing, so can confirm it's unisex. I love it. But they've got accessories like this really cool like handkerchief scarf that I feel like you could wear around your neck. Also really unisex, really cool. And it encompasses Joe Jonas's confident approach to style because he gets a little funky, you know what I mean? So inspired by, and you can totally see this, the American West, the 70s, vintage Americana, and then Joe's personal photography. There's a t-shirt that's really cool with like his personal film photos on it and writings. The capsule comes together and creates a dynamic wardrobe built to last. All right. So a celebration of creativity and confidence. Jonas's personal style is represented all throughout with original artwork, rich fabrics, and embroidery inspired by his musings. And they really are just cool, guys. I think they're really awesome. I'm going to get something for James from the collection, get something for myself from the collection. So if you guys want to check out the Scotch and Soda X Joe Jonas collection, it is now available at scotchandsoda.com, EU and US at select retailers. Use code probably for 20% off your first order. That's an incredible discount. That is code probably for 20% off your first order at scotchandsoda.com, EU and US, and select retailers. Visit www.scotchandsoda.com for more information. I'm gonna romanticize the story, and I'm gonna bring you guys into the inner workings of my brain for a second. Scary place. I've had, I would say, 4 or 5 conversations about this podcast. You guys know me. I come on the podcast, I just talk my shit. I keep it going. It's why I think you guys love me. It's why I love the podcast. It's why I feel comfortable here. I can talk on my Instagram as much as I want, but on my podcast, I don't know why, because it is still the exact same amount of the internet, but I just feel like it's a safe place. Like if you're on minute, I have a timestamp in front of me. If you're on minute 34, 35, I assume you enjoy me enough or you hate me enough that you're listening to this long. So it just feels safer for some reason. But I've had several conversations where I'm like, do I gatekeep this whole story? Because it feels really special to me and it feels really important to me. And I don't care how crazy I sound right now. Like, I really have thought exponentially about talking about this. And everyone that knows me is like, do what you want to do. But like, you're like, our favorite thing about you is that you are who you are fully and truly. And it would be just, and I think it would be just like so against everything I believe in and who I am to not tell the story. So all that being said, I'm going to romanticize for a second that I stopped to get gelato, because if I hadn't stopped to get gelato, which you didn't want gelato or
I didn't
need it.
I mean, we took a couple pictures. I snapped pictures of you just like being in the moment. I mean, I'm not kidding. Every second counts, because we walked out of this night that essentially it was so much fun to spend time with you, but like didn't turn into like a night.
Yeah. It was just like,
and then turned into like a night.
Yeah. So we get gelato. I eat the gelato. I think I post the gelato. Not me eating ice cream and not posting about it. So I okay, these details aren't important. I throw the code away.
They are. Okay, so we literally leave gelato. We're walking down another side alley street or something. We're
complete opposite area of town. This is not
4 or 5 hours later.
4 or 5 hours later, not the same. This is why I reference it to New York. It is not the same area of town that we were previously in. When we were walking to dinner, this is not the same cross street. This is not the same alleyway. We were in a totally different part or area of Barcelona. And
we are literally like our me being Map Marissa are like crossing the street.
Marissa.
We're like, waiting on the side. It's our turn. It's time to cross. And in front of our path again is those 2 guys. And we looked at each other and we were like, they're the guys. I mean, it happened in a second. They're the guys.
Millisecond.
Shannon said that she smiled to like the nth degree.
I smiled. So I was like, what do we do? And we didn't even have enough time to ask what we do. I was just like, they're the guys. And she's like, they're the same guys. And then I was like,
we got one look.
We had one shot. Like
one look.
Like, what was it, like one shot? Like, they're the end all be all. I just remember thinking, what are the fucking odds? You know what? The first time we saw them, we made eyes and then they sprinted ahead of us. This time, I was thinking to myself, what are the fucking odds? Like, I'm going to make it very clear without words that like, hi, like, I don't know.
To be honest, I'd had like a lot of, I feel like, stolen moments with guys where you look at them, they look at you, you look again, they look at you, and then people walk and you're like, I'm never going to see you again. Yeah. It was like, we had to smile. We literally had to wave at them. I was like, we're throwing up a hand gesture just to let you know the extra mile.
Like, hey, we've seen you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I smile. I keep walking. I'm like, Marissa, I smile. And I turn back around and Marissa's like talking to the guys. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, I like go back. I'm like, oh my God, hi. I didn't squeal like that. I was so much cooler than that. I was like, hi, what's up? Didn't we see you earlier?
But I think what was nice, it's like they're 2 guys, we're 2 girls.
Yeah, it was just, and
we're American, they were not.
Yeah, they were not. And basically we find out that they were like, oh my God, yeah, we saw you guys earlier, whatever.
We end up like, they were very nice. I tried to take them to a couple bars. It was a Tuesday. It was empty. One of them had a girlfriend, was super awesome.
We loved it. Marissa and I immediately I remember thinking like, so we kind of like, it wasn't like we even paired off. I was talking to one time, she was talking to one time.
You could feel where the things were going, the flirtation. So I'm like, I'm going to take
the best
friend,
because
because you two were hanging out, and the other guy actually was like, at some point I was like, do you have a girlfriend, because you're being very respectful, and I wasn't into him anyways,
which we
but
love, which we
he was
love.
being very, very respectful, but also we were sitting there watching them two hit it off, so we just sort of took a back seat.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So then obviously he went home, you and I are staying together, and
so we're walking down the streets. I remember we try to go to a bar, it's closed. You go to another bar, it's empty. We do all this stuff. And I think Marissa, this is where I will enter that Marissa is the goat of we're going to just surpass travel friends and just talk about being a wing woman, just of all wing womans. And she was like, you know, we love that the friend was basically so respectful that it was blatantly obvious. And she just straight up said like, do you have a girlfriend? And maybe he even just said like, yeah, me and my girlfriend, XYZ.
no, I asked because he was being very respectful, and I was like, any guy trying to flirt is like semi trying to do something. He just wasn't, which I super appreciated, knowing that he had a girlfriend.
We get in the cab. I actually was like, oh, I'll call us a cab. This place is closed. I remember I called the cab. I'm like, on it. I'm going to call the cab. And I turned back around and Marissa is hugging the guys goodbye. And I'm like, fuck. I really like talking to that guy, but I guess because the bar is closed, they're going home. And then the one guy is like, hey, yeah, he's going to go home and I'm coming with you guys. And we get in the cab and Marissa was like, he had a girlfriend. And it's so funny because his friend in the car is like, yes, he has a girlfriend, you know, she's such a babe, like she's wonderful, like we love that he has a girlfriend, she's wonderful. And me and Marissa, like I'm sure, I don't know what he was expecting, but we were like, oh my god, we love that. Like we were like, how respectful, like that's amazing.
There's a
like,
lot of shitty guys out there, and I loved every interaction because he was so respectful.
Yeah.
And the fact that we kept hanging out with him. He was so respectful. We met his girlfriend later.
Yeah, we listen.
They were all winners.
It came
in our
full
books.
circle, and we ended up meeting his girlfriend, and they were. She was quite the babe, as they say. And so,
totally.
anyways, so we go. I look at Marissa like, like we're gonna go back to the hotel bar. We're at the Hotel Arts. They have a fabulous bar downstairs. We go down to the bar. We have some tequila. Basically, Marissa is like, I don't know. So
in my head, I'm running through the fact that we're two girls. We've got a suite, super nice, 2 floors. We've got one bed. And so I'm trying to rationalize, how does this move forward?
And I am thinking to myself, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Because I will say, the sexual attraction was obviously there. He's a very good looking man, but like genuinely, I was enjoying talking to this guy so much. And I basically, like at some point, I think he went to the bathroom or something, and I just said to Marissa, like, please take the bed upstairs. I just want to hang out with him downstairs because again, it was a beautiful suite that had 2 floors, luckily, with like, you know, closing doors and whatever.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, you guys like,
you were
hang out.
also a trooper because I got a bed and I wasn't just like chilling on the couch.
Dude,
but,
no, 50-50. So I was
clearly,
like,
you had a good night.
I had a fun night. We hung out. It was wonderful. Like, went downstairs, had like just, I don't like, honestly, I don't care. If this all blows up in my face and like, I don't know, 3 weeks from now, I'm mortified. And this episode, I've done this before where I've like, you know, thought to myself, how could you be so stupid to just like air your whole life out? And then it always reminds me that this is what I do. And you guys hear the good, the bad, the ugly. I know that sounds cliche, but like, basically all I'm saying is I had one of the most like connections with someone I've ever felt. And it wasn't, yes, like sexually it was wonderful, but like, in so many other ways, like I just felt very connected to this guy
in a very short amount of time, from like the walk to the hotel bar, and even like the small time being back at the hotel. Like he didn't talk about just himself. He like asked about you. He asked about us. Like he talked about other things that weren't surface level. So it felt more than just like a one night stand.
Totally.
Which it could have been.
I was fully expecting it to be a one night stand. Didn't care. Was like, Barcelona, it's fine. Live your life. Live your truth. Whatever. No double standards here, motherfuckers. Like, everyone, if you're listening, live your life, male or female. So anyways, I was just fully expecting that, but I couldn't stop thinking about him the next day. But I was like, relax. Also, I didn't want to annoy Marissa, so I'm just like, relax. And then but she's cool. She's like, has he texted you? I'm like, yeah, he sent me the nicest thing, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like texting. We have a pool day the next day. Keep in mind, this is now our last day in Barcelona because we're going to Ibiza the next day. So it's our last day in Barcelona. We have a pool day. We have another like beautiful lunch and then a beautiful dinner at Bellissima, which is by the marina, which you guys should try out. It's gorgeous. And I said, should I text him? You go, what do you have to lose? And I was like, all right. Okay. So I texted him and was like, you know, like
Yes.
we'd been casually texting throughout the day, like flirty, whatever. But I basically just was like, maybe I'll never even see this guy again, but I know I want to
Yeah.
see him again tonight at least.
Yeah.
So I was basically like,
She was like, how not desperate do I be, but like how forward do I be? How like whatever.
100%.
'Cause she
I was like, how
I totally
desperate.
want to hang out, and I would love to bone again.
yeah,
Can I say that?
yes, you can
Okay.
say that. I was
Okay.
like, at least I'd love to have sex with this man again.
Yeah. And we
at
were like,
least.
we were like, to be honest, I was like, shoot your shot. You really like him. He seems like he really likes you over text. We're leaving and then we're doing Seville. So
Yeah.
like, it's your last night to hang out with him. Just like,
just shoot your shot. And honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest here. Like sexually, like I just was like, I will put it all on the line.
Oh,
to
we're going there.
experience
We're
this
going
again.
there.
To experience this again, I will put it all on the line. I honestly was like, I don't care how desperate I sound. Like even
Should
if
we
I
drink to that?
we should drink to that.
Okay.
Cheers
Wow.
to
Cheers to Barcelona.
Cheers to. We're gonna call him. He is effectively now Barcelona. That's his pseudonym.
There's nothing else to give him but the title of that
and
trip.
really, God bless that man. What a giving man. And so- Oh my God, I forgot I poured straight tequila in that.
Oh my God, you might
That was
need
such a
it.
big swallow.
You might need it.
Okay.
Well, and we were like, it's our last night. We leave in the morning. Shoot your shot.
She was
And
like, do it.
And I don't remember how he answered, but he was very clearly like,
Very
I would
reciprocal.
love to
Yeah.
see you again.
Yeah, totally. And so I
Oh,
told
yeah.
Marissa, do you want to go to
Shoot your shot.
dinner with us again? She was like, well, she had met someone along the way too. She was like, I'll go. You said you would go grab dinner with them or drinks with them. Again,
Mm-hmm.
everything in Barcelona. At this time when I was texting him, like, do you want to see me? It was like 9 p.m., which is early.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very early there. So you went, what did you do again? I forget.
I met someone for drinks that I had met before.
You met someone for drinks that you had met before. Did you have a fun time? What is his
did
name?
have a
What's his
fun time.
pseudonym? Me, I'm
we'll
like, I
just-
know who the fuck he is, but what's his pseudonym?
We'll just call him Sweet Guy. He
Sweet
was
guy,
very
so sweet.
sweet.
So
he was
sweet.
very sweet.
He was Spain. He was from
He
Spain?
was from Venezuela.
He was sweet. He's a sweet guy. Okay,
He
so
was sweet.
she goes to she has drinks with sweet guy. I tell Barcelona like it's just you and I tonight. He says his friend is doing something else that night. I'm like, well, what are the odds? A lot of judgy people out there. Whenever you're deciding to rent and not buy a home. Now, I was in a position to buy a home and I still didn't because like I just needed to rent. I wasn't ready to commit to something. I wanted to rent, okay? And people always judge you for that. They're always like, "Oh, you're flushing money down the toilet. Oh, you're just like paying all this rent. It's not going towards anything." And you know what? Like part of them is right, but it was always like really annoying that they were acting like my money was just vanishing into thin air, okay? And we've all been there feeling like we're burning cash with the rent checks and it's frustrating, right? But here's the deal. And I wish this was a thing when I was renting. So I'm telling you this so that if you are renting right now, you can utilize this. Built Rewards has figured out a way to make rent more rewarding, okay? Say goodbye to the money bonfire and say hello to a renter's revolution with Built. So they are breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent. So you can earn points whenever you pay your rent. Every month you pay your rent and you watch the Built points roll in. Now, let's talk about things you can use your Built points towards. You can use them to jet off on a dream vacation. You can put your points towards a flight or hotel, or like there's literally 500 plus airlines, 700,000 plus hotels and properties. So the options are endless there. You can use your points to book fitness studio classes, redeem them towards a future rent payment. That's right. You can literally redeem the points that you earn with Built Rewards towards a future rent payment. So they're designed to meet your lifestyle, whatever that is. You can pay your rent hassle-free through the Built Rewards app, and your rent game just got a major upgrade. I'm so jealous of you guys because I was actually just flushing money down the toilet with my rent checks. This is truly amazing. So Built points have been consistently ranked the highest value point currency by the points guy, we love Brian, and Bankrate. All right. So earn points by paying rent now when you go to joinbuilt.com/probably. That's JOINBILT.com/probably. Make sure you use my URL so they know that I sent you. Joinbuilt.com/probably to start earning points with your rent payments today. So we go and have drinks. I will make this very brief because literally this cannot be a 4-hour podcast. But in that moment that we had drinks, the second night by ourselves, the connection again was just, I haven't ever felt it before. Like I'm going to over romanticize it and I don't care. And I will get to the point where I'm like, I have this like pivotal moment where I'm like, did I just feel like I was on The Bachelor for 5 days? Like, is this real? Do I actually feel this way? Are these real feelings, or are these over romanticized, like overdone feelings because I'm in a new country with a new person who has a really sexy accent and is also really hot and really good at sex? And like, and what am I doing? Right. And the answer is, I don't think so.
The amount of times that you mentioned to me, like, he's saying these really sweet things and I can't decide if I'm freaked out or not. And we were like, you have asked for these things so many times.
Yeah. So,
and then you were like, I'm not freaked out. Like, actually, these are the things that I've asked for.
I feel the same way, and I'm not weirded out by it at all. And here's the thing too, like, I feel like we get I'm saying we, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but for me personally, as a female at 28 years old in this current life that I live, I ask for these things, I manifest these men, and then every once in a while, I've only been single for like a year and a half, but I was in very long-term relationships. I'm a relationship girl. I'm ready to meet my person, and I say all the things I want, and this man is literally giving me everything I want and everything I've asked for, and I've written down, and I've done all the right things. I've said, I'm going to write down what I want. I'm going to write down what he does, and he's doing all of them. And I'm almost like,
you're a little freaked out.
I'm just thinking to myself, how could this be so perfect so quickly? And Marissa, I will give it to her, not one of my dearest, closest, bestest, longest friends in the whole world. She looked at me and she said, I don't know if I'm out of line here, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not letting you do this. I'm not letting you self-sabotage, because I was fully self-sabotaging. And I was like, oh my God, this is too weird. Am I like being so weird? I kept like finding myself wanting to talk about this guy, and I'd be like, sorry, I can't keep talking about him. This is so fucking weird. I'm being so weird. And she's like, let it happen. Like, allow it. Like, just let it happen. If you're feeling those things, like, feel them. And I'm like, okay. And I have this podcast where I give you guys advice, and it's like, hey, every once in a while, just take your own fucking advice and allow it to happen when this person enters your life. So
I think we all romanticize the bad boy who, like, there's the chase, and then eventually they turn around and whatever. And it always feels very weird to have the guy who's very upfront and he's very like vulnerable, and that feels weird to receive. Yeah. And I think because you allowed yourself to receive it, I mean, not to fast forward, but it like, you're in a place now where you really like him. Yeah. And usually the bad boy, the guy who like you talk to your friends about,
you're confused for 4 months. You're confused for 4 months.
And like, it hasn't been that long. You guys have spent a lot of time together, but it hasn't been that long. And I feel like you really like him because both of you have been very vulnerable. So
I think not playing games is just like, you say, I don't want to play games. I don't want to play games. But then you actually don't play games. And it's genuinely like, it is life-changing. And okay. I don't know.
Okay, so fast forward. So y'all have a really good last night together, and then we're heading to Ibiza.
And he says, oh my God, I love Ibiza. Like, it's such a fun place. You guys have fun. Gonna miss you. We basically,
because we're going and not coming back to Barcelona.
I tell him we're going to Seville. Like, we're going to Seville. He's like, beautiful, how wonderful. We are very forward with each other, and he definitely tells me, like, I've just never felt a connection like this before. I'm like, neither have I. I tell Marissa all these things, interesting enough, blah, blah, blah. We go to Ibiza.
We are planning on
this is just important to note that our flights to Ibiza were totally fucked, and Vueling Air is this fucking Spirit JetBlue airline of Spain, apparently.
Oh, the worst.
And they put us on fucking standby, even though we had tickets. It was a whole debacle. We were sweating more than you would even sweat normally in a Barcelona airport. We were so stressed. I was texting my mom like, this is the worst day of our lives. Like, I got on the flight, but Marissa didn't, but I'm not going to fucking leave Marissa, but our bags were already checked. Honestly, it was just like pure chaos. And it put us in like a really weird mood about like traveling further on this airline called Vueling Air, which, just FYI, fuck you guys.
Can we say it one more time?
Vueling Air, literally fuck you guys.
Yeah.
So anyways, we get on the flight and we go to Ibiza.
Yeah. And I think there was a part of me, I don't even know if I've said it, that I was a little bummed that you had a crush going into Ibiza, because I was like, I lost my single wing woman, because I was hook, line, and sinker, baby.
She was I'm going to be
just
completely honest.
In a cock coma.
That
felt really disgusting coming out of my mouth. But to be honest, that's what you were.
I was
you
done.
Were smitten.
I was smitten.
And I was so sad, because I was ready to party and to be single and to be in bathing suits. And I was like, I have lost her. But I did know you would still come in clutch. Like, you
Correct.
are still the most hype wing woman of all wingman.
Love you.
And I knew I wouldn't have a bad time, but it is so much easier to suck in someone if both of you were single.
But I didn't need it. I was sucked in. I was ready to go. I also fully, as you guys know, listening to this podcast, I will try a drug. I would, like, there is not a song by the late, who sings that song actually? He talks about Avicii, but Avicii passed away. Who sings the song?
Well,
Mike Posner?
Well, he's alive.
Yeah, no, but I took a pill in Ibiza.
Yeah.
To prove to Avicii I was cool. Okay, right, whatever. We know the song, okay? The song is great. Anyways.
That took a lot. I did not post it even once. I almost made so many stories about it.
Everyone kept being like, yeah, you posting your song. And I was like, first of all, just to be clear, I'm cooler than that, okay? I'm not going to go to Ibiza and post the song I took a pill in Ibiza.
Also, I feel like Ibiza is not a place where you show up without any plans. Like, you need a club, you need a daybed, you need a whatever.
It's Vegas.
We didn't have any of it.
It's a more beautiful, more fabulous, iconic Vegas. And so think about going to Vegas. You're not going to go to Vegas and just like pop into a club. You can't do that.
Right.
You have to have a table. You have to have a plan. You have to have understanding of the beach clubs. And I'm going to tell you, we didn't.
But the like theme of the trip is like there's only two of us. I feel like we're like really fun. We're super cute. So I was like,
so
people
easy to
will
travel
want to
like that.
hang out, or like we'll just figure it out. Which I'm in the back of the plane because I barely got on.
Oh yeah, the standby.
I'm like I'm in the back of the plane, and at some point, I mean, we are into the ride.
Yeah.
I look down the aisle because I'm in an aisle seat, thank God. And I look down the aisle, and Shannon is talking to everyone around her. I think I might have taken a video. I'm not sure. I just remember thinking like, that's my girl. I don't know what she's doing, but she's
doing it.
It is in every movie. Like the plane to Ibiza is average age 29 years old. Everyone is drunk showing up for the plane, and everyone is taking a 45-minute plane ride
to the party central.
Wasted
and
they're
wild.
drunk or hungover, and they're ready to be drunk or hungover when they land.
I need to paint the scene that we talked about this trip for so long, 2 weeks. And we were like, the plane to Ibiza, because there's literally that movie, isn't it on Netflix called Ibiza?
Called Ibiza.
And it's iconic because it shows the flight from Barcelona to Ibiza. It's 45 minutes, and you go from this like cultural, beautiful, like cathedrals, restaurants, like just, whatever town, and you go to this it's fucking Ibiza, and you go there, and it's 45 minutes, so everyone is just like crazy, and they're singing and they're dancing, they're on the plane, and it's like she said, everyone's hot, everyone's young, everyone's about to go to the same place to go party.
I mean, everyone is a bachelorette crew. It is like, it's young party central. And I remember looking up there and just thinking like, my girl is making plans, setting dates, putting her foot in her mouth, like we're gonna figure out some group to pop into. She, I'm not kidding, texted me 5 minutes later, and you
don't have Wi-Fi on the plane, by the way, because it's such a short flight, but
no,
whatever you expected the Ibiza flight to be, I was like, wait, am I like being crazy? We got on the plane, there was this group of like 20 dudes who were all wearing matching shirts that were like chanting some like beautiful chant in another language, and I was like, they're fun. Like everyone was fully there to fucking party, and the flight attendant came over and told them to relax because the plane was rocking, literally
didn't know that.
Rocking.
Glad I did not know that.
That might have stressed you out. It stressed me out personally. But at some point during the flight, I meet this beautiful group of people. This is the group of people that Marissa was like, I texted her at the end of the conversation, and she was like, I saw you and I knew we were set. Because I get this tap on her shoulder. It's an amazing man who's literally like, my wife will literally fucking murder me. She has told me, if you fucking say a word to her, I'll kill you. But like he undersells it. He's like, she knows you. I'm thinking she's a podcast listener, whatever. No, actually, she does know me through my friend Anna Grace. Anna Grace had the same most crazy random experience with the same group of people, same whole group.
You said you talked about it on a podcast. I don't remember which one.
So thank you for saying that. Go back to Wig Burrito, where Anna Grace talks about, I think it was episode 3 of the last season. Yeah, producer Courtney is going to fact check me, but the episode's called Wig Burrito. Anna Grace tells the most iconic story. It's right before she meets Coach, and has like, it's her last single adventure. She's in Miami for New Year's Eve, and she meets this group of people in a line waiting for a club, and ends up spending the rest of the fucking weekend with them, like 3 days with them. She was like, I had a husband for 4 days. He was wonderful, whatever. This group of people, she doesn't just talk about the guy. She talks about this group of like humans. She's like, they're so inclusive. They're so wonderful. They're so nice. The girls,
They were so much fun.
they're so much fun. The dress
Yeah.
splits down at some point. The girl gives her a dress. I just remember the story being like, was it episode 3? Episode 5. I was wrong. But episode 5, Wig Burrito. She like just could not stop talking about. I remembered it. I mean, it was a podcast. I'm her actual best friend. I just was like, what cool people. Anyways, this guy taps her on the shoulder. He's like, my wife knows you, whatever. He says like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, how funny. What a small world. We're on a plane to Ibiza and your wife follows me on Instagram. That is
and
random.
Shannon has red hair. She's the only person in Spain with red hair. So like, of course you noticed me, like your wife noticed me.
But I still was just like,
it
wow.
was more than that. It was like,
even if she was just a follower, I was like,
Yeah.
what a small world. No. She was so much more than that. This was the exact, not just the husband and the wife, the exact same giant group, not giant, I don't know, it was like 8 people.
Yeah.
Like husband and wife crew, like all these couples that were so much fun, so wonderful. And they say like, we were with your friend Anna Grace. And I was like, oh, y'all were the people? And they're like, yes. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And I then get really creepy. I'm like, we have this whole episode. It's called Wig Burrito. I'm like typing it up. They're like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, no, I love you. I love you by happenstance. I love you because Anna Grace doesn't say she loves people unless she really loves people. I love you guys. And they're like, no, she was wonderful. They were so chill. And then they say, you know, we're going to Blue Marlin tomorrow, beach club that's iconic. That actually Barcelona guy who spent a lot of time in Ibiza before had said like, if you can go to Blue Marlin, go to Blue Marlin. But like, honestly, it'd be very hard to get a reservation. And I was like, yeah, we probably won't.
I mean,
make
and
it
the
happen.
fact that we showed up with no plans whatsoever, and I'm not kidding, like in a 2 like
There was
row
so many
situation,
rows.
she sat in the middle of all
the whole
8
group.
of them.
Of the
That's
whole
what, when
group.
I turned around and you were talking to everyone, I was like, she's got something planned and
something
made.
of the pipeline.
And they were doing, because we're not bougie, but like we want to go to, like, we want to experience things that like we're not going to stay in a hostel in Barcelona. We want to
Yes.
stay in like a different situation.
Do whatever floats your boat, but
Yeah.
personally, we wanted to experience the like fun, luxurious parts of Ibiza.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, one day I'm gonna have kids, one day I'm gonna have a whole mess of responsibilities, but right now I just want to do the fun stuff. And it was like they wrote the itinerary for bougie, fun, iconic shit. In
Like
Ibiza.
they're sitting there and they're like, it's just you two. We had a 10-person group. Two people
people
backed
dropped
out.
out. Yes.
So you two come and join in all these things.
And we
so
were like, are you sure? They were so nice. They were so inclusive, just like Anna Grace said. And I told Marissa, I was like, I'm going to let them like sit on it because maybe they're just drunk on the plane to Ibiza like everyone else. But like, I'm going to text them the next day. And if they still invite us, we're so fucking set. They literally have Blue Marlin reservation. They have all this reservation because they're a group of 8. When you're a group of 8, you got to plan stuff because you're a fucking group of 8.
Yeah.
We're a group of 2. We were easy to just slip in there, and they were so nice and inclusive. They invited us to their fabulous villa. People were messaging me when I posted on Instagram like, where are y'all? I'm like, don't worry about it, but but really, like, we were at their villa. We were staying at a beautiful hotel. We stayed at Nobu in Ibiza, which was gorgeous, but
Gorgeous.
like they had an iconic villa that they were like, please come enjoy yourselves. So we go to Blue Marlin. It's iconic. And then she looked at the timestamp of this podcast and she realized not only is she not going to fake turning this podcast into 2 parts, I'm not even going to look like this at the next. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to be in a different outfit and you're going to have to wait. And I'm actually not even doing this to give you a cliffhanger. I'm telling you, genuinely, there are so many stories. Marissa just looked at me. We stopped the podcast just now. We talked to producer Courtney. I talked to Marissa. I'm like, I could cram all of this into the next 10 minutes, but it wouldn't justify our trip.
Blue Marlin is Saturday, and we don't leave Barcelona until Friday. I mean, there's 6 more days of just shit happened.
The next 6 days. So that night, I'm not going to go into detail, but that night, and this is why you have to listen to the next episode.
Do it.
I shudder to think.
Do it.
I'll do it.
Give it your best.
Girl, I'm not going to do it.
Give it your best.
All right. That night, I took a pill in Ibiza.
Ooh.
We're going to cut here.
We'll unpack it later.
We'll unpack it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a little nugget. I'll give you a nugget. It wasn't good.
It was so good.
Marissa.
It was that needs a whole nother story. On
Marissa. I left Ibiza with no soul, and I texted my 2 best friends. I texted Taylor, I texted Anna Grace, and I said, as in a voice note, I love voice notes. I said, I love Marissa so much, I feel like she's gonna hate me. They were like, know if she's nice, she'll understand.
And here I am. We did it together. We survived.
And here she is. I did something solo, but she was there for me. Okay.
Yes.
So we are, unfortunately, we're going to record this in 2 days. We are, in the next episode, we're going to tell you about I took a bail in Ibiza. And then we're also going to finish the story of, I don't know, my cute little fairy tale. I think I'd like to say. So we will see you in a week. And I cannot express to you how much this is not clickbait, but you're going to want to tune the fuck in, because next week you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to love me, you're going to hate me, and then you're literally going to be so happy for me. And that is a fucking wrap. Cheers. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.